What's up, folks? Back with you again today, and today it's time for just a quick where are we? A quick stock check of NBA Collect. We are, I guess, we're coming into 3 weeks, almost a month on the app at this point, probably around 3 weeks. And so let's just take stock of where we're at so far. We did a little 1 week check in, and I was saying we were like an 8.5 out of 10. And not a lot has changed in the last 2 weeks, honestly, but let's just see sort of where we're at. So we'll start off with a couple of the sort of, I don't know, bad things, a couple of dings against the app. First thing is the contest, and that's just we have yet to have unlimited swap contests, which is so odd. I would have expected those to be. Maybe not the first week, but to begin the second week. Contests are going to be really interesting, assuming we get unlimited swap contests, which there is no reason to have boost on like iconics and legendaries if we don't have unlimited swap contests at some point. So they should be coming. There must be some sort of extended testing happening, or I don't know. I don't know what the rollout delay could be, but have been surprised that we haven't seen those yet. But they're going to be interesting in NBA, and I'm planning to do a whole contest video, just sort of an introduction to contests and such for everyone that's new. Once we have the unlimited swap contests up and ready to go. But they're going to be interesting because it's not like in MLB where every player has some sort of use, right? I'm a Reds fan, and so I kind of passively played contest on Bunt, and when the Reds played, I just make sure I'd put in 10 players of whoever was batting every at-bat in the game. And so someone like Santiago Espinal, for instance, has almost no use widely in the game, and he didn't get a card till even late in the game. But when he come up to bat, I guess I could use Gavin Lux as a better example, maybe. But even still, not a huge superstar, not even a semi-star or anything. Just a player on the Reds who gets at bats every game. I would need 10 cards of him, right? So that I could fill out a lineup. And there was some value in those 10 cards. But in the NBA, I can't really envision in an unlimited swap contest why I would use almost 60 to 70, maybe 80% of the players in the NBA, probably up to 80% of the players. So it kind of creates this thing where there's not a lot of value outside of, the SGAs, the Currys, the LeBrons, the Doncic, the Cooper Flags, Maxi, these guys that you would use in an unlimited swap contest, because why would you ever choose, who's the guy? Quentin Post, for instance, for the Warriors. There wouldn't be a reason to choose most of these guys when you have a better player on the floor, 9 other players on the floor. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic here, is that it's going to be really top heavy. There's no reason to trade for these lower level guys. It's all about the upper level guys, which is kind of different than Bunt, where you needed everyone. So still no unlimited contest. Unlimited swap contest. The contest, they do have pretty good prizes for the orange here at the 5K diamonds and 2K diamonds. 250K is pretty good for this starting 5. I wish they'd get a little bit more creative. Give us a little bit something else with these contests. I mean, the base ones, it's just luck, right? You just pick 5 big name guys and hope you get lucky. There's at least some skill involved in this orange one where you have to sort of determine how you're going to use your limited swaps, and then you also have to determine in trading if you're willing to give up some of these guys to fill other holes and things of that nature. So I like the base tier 6 orange one. The starting 5 one's kind of just like a baby contest for everybody. Would love to see them add some variety in here. Maybe for just in the Kick app, a cool thing they used to do is they would pick like a specific game, and you would have like a set for that game, and you could use those cards in that game. So it might be cool to like if there's like a big Sunday, a game coming up on a Sunday or Saturday or something, where it's the Warriors and the Lakers, where they create just a set for that game that can be used for a contest, and that, those types of things could be fun. In Kick, they were a lot of fun to open those packs that were just for players from that game and such, and then to use those in the contest that day. So, hopefully there's more coming, more creativity coming. Right now, I'd put contest at, at a sort of NA. We can't make a decision yet on the contest. But I think there's a lot of potential here. Just hopefully we get there pretty soon. The next thing, kind of give them a little bit of a ding on, is the content volume. There's just not a lot out there. I mean, granted, you have to understand this is coming from somebody that is an absolute crazy person who has spent way too much time and effort. The 200K collection score is in the top like 3 to 5 accounts. And so naturally, when you look at my store here, there are a few options that you might still have that I don't. Some of those early like sets that I completed on day one, maybe you still have those sitting there. But generally, though, I mean, we've got 2 boxes. We got this Genesis set. Flagship's a pretty big set, so it's going to take time for people to fill out, but it's also going to be there for most of the year. It would be great to see more, just more of everything, really. It seems like we go so many days with barely any sort of drop. So something, it's an interesting dynamic that they have here, in that in Bunt, we have so many MLB physical sets that they can pull from. And I would bet those are so much easier to load up, in the app from a technical standpoint. Whereas these digital sets, they have to have a graphic designer design them, right? I'm sure they could tap into some, like they did with this Genesis set, they're tapping into a Disney design. They could tap into some old Bunt designs and things. There was sets like panels that came out in 2020, or like they did with one that was like luminescence and or whatever it was. There's all kinds of ways. The Color Splash is a tap into some Bunt stuff. So there are ways they can do that. They just need to do more of that right now, because again, I'm a crazy person. I have literally every card, iconic and below, in the game, and there's no reason for me to open packs. There's nothing for me to do. So, one thing that, especially, my tip to Topps, if you're listening, a thing that I think that is sort of an unlimited gameplay loop that you could put into the game, that is one of those upgradable sets that you did last year in Bunt, for the holiday collection, for instance, where you have 2. You buy packs of signature, or you have coin packs that don't have signatures, and then you can upgrade those from 1 star to 2 stars to 3 stars, or whatever the path was. That's sort of a unlimited gameplay loop hack. I know they weren't super popular, but the reasons they weren't super popular were more with the in-app execution. For instance, not being able to have like checklists to know which cards you were missing, and things like that, for most of the cards, was actually the bigger problem. I think people enjoy having something, especially the free-to-play players, that they can just keep, grinding throughout the day. I could be doing that right now. If you had something like that, buying signature packs and upgrading them and continuing to try to fill out everything. So that's a thing. I think if you're looking for ideas in the digital space, that is the type of thing that'll keep everyone busy for a long time, especially if you can figure out how to get the checklists into the system in a way where everyone isn't just like, has no idea. One, you couldn't search, right? So you couldn't even see who had the cards you needed. But 2, you couldn't even see what the cards you needed look like or whatever. So if you can work that out, we'd love to see that. Okay, so content volume, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10 at this point, right? They've really kind of slow played this so far with just a few sets that have come out. The NBA flagship being the big one. And again, I understand their hands are tied because there aren't a lot of physical NBA products out, and they've got to go the digital route. But hopefully they get creative and come up with something soon. All right, next, content set and design. So what I'm talking about there is first just the design of the cards. Everything's looked great, I think. No real complaints. There are some things on this Genesis set. Let's see if they ever got fixed. They probably didn't. But for instance, this VJ Edgecomb doesn't have the RC rookie label on it, whereas the Cooper flag, I always want to call him Cooper Cup for some reason. The Cooper flag, if I can find him, is he going to be the last card? No. It does have it, so we got to add that in. If somebody could retroactively go in and add those, that would be great. There's also an issue with this Cooper flag. I believe it is maybe one of these Black Shimmer Iconics. One of these do not actually have his name emboldened. It's not that one, I don't think. Well, maybe it's that one. One of these doesn't have it emboldened correctly. And then the other part of this set that's a big issue is the how close this set looks to the uncommon set, which caused me and I'm sure has caused others to accidentally accept trades for uncommons, which obviously have like a 500 or 5200 cc global count for 150 cc cards. So that's a little frustrating. The other aspect of it is though, like set design, like how do they arrange these sets that they release? What are the drop rates like and things of that nature? And so far I don't have a lot of complaints on that front. I did think, as I mentioned, one of the earlier sets was way too small, but this Genesis set, this is great. I mean, 50 cards, various levels. The only thing missing is a legendary. It is difficult to justify opening packs or spending money on packs when there's not a legendary included, because that's where most of the value comes from. So that's the only thing missing here. But otherwise, 50 card set. I think this is series 1. Series 1. So there's going to be a second series of presumably 50 cards. Good awards, good pull rates, a fun crafting element added as well. So yeah, like I think this was a win. And it's cool to see that these crafts are like, they've got the balance right to where these aren't going to be like 5,000 cc crafts because of the nature of what's needed to craft them. So that's really cool, because it seems like everything on Bunt, if there's a craft element to it, those cards suddenly become junk because the CCs get so high. So this was really good. I give like content design and set design a good 8 out of 10. Next, app stability, literally no issues at all. It's been great on that front. There's some odd things where sometimes you click in, you get like an error and you got to go back in, but that's so few and far between. The big thing with app stability is downtime, where we get the app is under maintenance type thing, and that hasn't happened since day one. So no complaints there. Game loops. So this is a big one that they're kind of missing the mark on. And again, I had kind of touched earlier on the set that I think could really be a big difference maker on that front. But the other thing that's missing are just events in general, right? Here, there were 3 or 4 events when the app started, but then it's been 3 weeks and there's nothing yet. Presumably, Top 100 has to be coming pretty soon. that should kind of solve that. The top 100 sets in the in all these apps in Skate and in Bunt usually have some event connected to it, and that creates this gameplay loop of where people can go in and open mystery boxes or spin the wheel, and that makes progress towards getting something. Usually, like on the Bun app, for instance, the top 100 event creates a lot of coins for people over time. So need more in that, again, to just keep you coming back to the app to do something other than just open packs or trade. That just get people really committed into the app more, and especially at this time when we're at the off season for Major League Baseball. Bunt is kind of stale right now, so it'd be great to have something that keeps people coming back to NBA Collect. So far, the user base has been pretty strong. I'm noticing at about 10 to 12,000 users. When you go in to look at sort of how many are claiming this free uncommon every day, surprisingly, the LeBron from day one was 28,000. So we had a huge surge on day one of people checking it out, and that's settled into about 10 to 12,000. And then for the contest, we see around, I think it's 7 to 8,000 consistently. Yeah, 7 to 8,000 consistent contest players. So interesting to see where we're at with the app. I think on Bunt, it's kind of double, right? It's usually around 20,000 or more is what the user base stays at. So this is obviously first 3 weeks. I think it's a huge success to get this kind of consistent crossover, especially with relatively little marketing that's happened so far. So yeah, overall the game I think has been going well. It's just those gameplay loops, the things that keep you coming back, the sticky things that really get you into the app and make you not leave, that are missing. So, I think I was, after week 1, I was like 8.5 out of 10, probably drop it down to 8 out of 10 at this point, just because we've gone so long without the unlimited contest and without another gameplay loop and with so little content. But it's really fun. There's a reason why I have every card, iconic and below at this point. It's because I've been playing consistently. So let me know your thoughts. What did I miss? What else have you really enjoyed that I maybe didn't point out? Would love to hear from you all. Thanks again for all your support. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk again soon.